What's going on, everybody? It's about 10 to 5 p.m. over here. I found out about this story late last night before I went to bed. I wanted to do a video about it back then, but I figure I'll wait till the next day. And this is considered good news for the fans of RUN-DMC, the highly influential hip-hop group from Hollis, Queens, New York. Now, as you know, they've had a lot of massive hits in the 80s and the early 90s. Down with the King, which I guess came out in 1991. That was one of their last big-time hits. They had a comeback album in 99 called Crown Royal, featuring a whole bunch of guest appearances like Kid Rock, Fred Durst. I guess Nas was on that album, guest spotting, I guess, if I'm correct. Well, sadly, the group came to a screeching halt in October 2002 when Jam Master Jay, whose real name is Jason Mizell, was shot in cold blood in his home studio in Queens, New York, in October of that year. Well, that mystery has been unsolved, remained in a mystery up until this point now. This was revealed yesterday, Monday afternoon. The two suspects were identified as Ronald Washington and Carl Jordan Jr. Now, Washington is currently serving a federal prison sentence stemming from a string of robberies while being on the run by the cops after Jay's death. And Carl Jordan Jr., who has also been charged at the same time with engaging in a cocaine distribution conspiracy in 2017. Now, Jay, as we know, was shot with a .40 caliber bullet by a masked assailant in a studio in Hollis, Queens, where he grew up. Now, what I'm going to read here is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be pretty shocking. Apparently what it was that even though RUN-DMC has had a long time stance against drug use, seems that Mizell was involved with some sort of a cocaine distribution deal. Now, hear this. According to prosecutors, Jay would bring in bulk amounts of cocaine to sell retail, and apparently was killed as a retaliation because Mizell cut Mr. Washington out of a plan to distribute 10 kilos to the state of Maryland. So basically, he was involved with some sort of drug trafficking problem, and I guess it went astray fatally. Now, Jay's acquaintance with Washington massively upsetted Jay's family. And according to this, Washington had been linked to the 1995 fatal shooting of Randy Walker, who was a close associate of the late Tupac Shakur. Now, if it is true that Mr. Mizell was involved in such a thing, this would rake as a massive disappointment to all the longtime fans who stood their ground with the anti-drug messages in their videos and in their song lyrics. But then again, at that time, RUN-DMC haven't been doing much of anything, and I guess Mizell probably figured, fuck it, go along with this. I gotta put food on the table for myself and my kids. That's if he was married with kids. Probably had to take care of himself. And the only way to do that at that time was drug distribution. Sadly, we've seen this happen too many times with many people. they get involved with the drug trade business, and it ends up costing their lives or other people's lives and their reputations. And all I can really say is, I have to wait and see what goes forward after this. Now, if we were to solve the mysteries of who killed both Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G., we'd be all set. That's for sure. There's already been one suspect in the B.I.G. shooting, but all that talk is hearsay right now, and that case was pushed aside because the lead detective was hit too many roadblocks and was decided to fuck it, I'm turning in my badge. So we'll have to wait and see, folks. Now I want to know what everybody has to say about this. I want everybody to know I'm against drug use, and I'm against drug distribution as well. All we seem to do is destroy people's lives one way or another, either with prison time or 6 feet under the ground. And it kills me to see people resorting to that route as a means of survival. So once again, I'd like to hear what everybody else has to say about this, okay? I'm Dr. Earl. Hit that like button. Leave your thoughts and comments down below there. And subscribe to my channel. You have a good one.